The red lights are on. This is round 3 of the Toyota MR2 Championship, and it gets underway then. The pole man starts on the outside line here at Silverstone. That's Sean Trainer then, Nick Williamson alongside, and they are absolutely side by side as they turn into Abbey for the first time, and Trainer on the outside line just about has it, and then the rest of the field flow through. All 44 of them, the most cars you could start on the Silverstone International Circuit. So Trainer leads for second. Up the inside comes Ali Topley. He locks up though as he gets alongside Nick Williamson. Here come the rest. There's Dave Hemingway in one of the older cars, the Mark 1, and the rest of them are making their way into the hairpin safely, which is good to see. Here come the leaders then. Trainer trying to make a break before they get onto the long straight. There's another of the Mark 3 rotors. That's Tom Mailings. Alongside him, former champion Paul Hinson, returning to the category this year. One car over the grass in the background, but that gets back on. I think Trainer's got enough of a gap to hang on down towards Stowe as they battle behind. Nick Williamson trying to hold back the Topley car. They're 4 abreast here pretty much, with Paul Cook just about ahead of 2 Ben Rowe, and then Tom Mailings on the outside as they turn through. Some great racing, and now a challenge for the lead. So Williamson has got close enough. It's almost 3 abreast as Alistair Topley looks to the outside of Nick Williamson and Sean Trainer. Williamson got a bit sideways as he turned into the corner, so Trainer hangs on, but that bigger margin he had earlier is absolutely gone. And here comes Topley up the inside of Williamson. Don't think Nick Williamson was expecting that, and squeezes Topley towards the curb on the inside. Williamson's out wide. He puts the wheel in the gravel, so that's going to drop his momentum down the straight. So it will be Trainer that leads across the line at the end of 1 lap. It's second now for Topley. Here comes Paul Cook. He squeezes between Williamson and Aaron Cook to go 4th. That was a pretty impressive move into Abbey. A pretty frantic first lap there, though.
Yeah, absolutely incredible, isn't it? And that later roadster, as you say, a lighter car with a little less engine capacity, has the agility in some parts of the circuit, but not quite the grunt when it comes to the straights. Sean Trainer doesn't run the number 1 as champion, does he? We sticks with his number 27, the old Gilles Villeneuve number.
Off the road there was 96 Aaron Cook, the championship leader over the grass, so he's going to lose places. He's lost out to Paul Cook at the beginning of the lap, and now Tom Mailings and Ben Rowe trying to come through. So it's a 3-car breakaway. Trainer, Topley and Cook, and a big touch there, and Tom Mailings gets sideways. I think Ben Rowe, it may have been, it tagged him. Paul Hinson's involved in that too on the inside line. And he gains 1, maybe 2 places, but that was pretty frantic.
Yeah, here's that lead group. The trio comes into club for the second time. Still it's Trainer, and now the boot's on the other foot between 41, Topley and Williamson. This time Williamson looked at the inside, wasn't quite close enough to put his car onto the apex. In 4th place is Aaron Cook by the looks of things. Paul Cook now. Paul Cook in the silver car with the yellow back, and then it's Aaron Cook in the rogue-coloured car.
There's Dave Hemingway, the leading Mark 1. You've got the Mark 1, Mark 2 and a Mark 3 in there, so the 3 different ages of MR2, and I think Hemingway was out over the grass there, but let's look a bit further forward. There's Mick Nichols trying to come around the outside of Daniel Bryant. Here you've got 84, one of the Mark 3 rotors. That's Neil Stratton, who's moved up from a Mark 1. He's side by side with Dave Hemingway. Around the outside there comes 39. 39 is Adam Lewis. He's on the inside of Hemingway now as they go through the link. We've also got 28 involved in that. That is Phil Collins. And then 72, that looks like the Sean Trainer car. Oh, certainly in that livery. And that's John Wilson, who returns, a former winner back at the beginning of the decade. And there is Wilson then popping out of the toe, trying to get ahead of Hemingway and ahead of 28 to the Phil Collins car. So battling all the way through the pack once again.
55 Hemingway in that early Mark 1, hanging on really well. He's 15th in this 44 car field. So strong effort. 84, another of the Mark 3s. That's Neil Stratton there, ahead of the Lewis car 39.
And they come across the line at the end of 3 laps of this 15-minute race. Sean Trainer does the best lap of the race, 1:21.09, which is a couple of attempts off of his own lap record, but when he was in a different car, it is quicker than we've ever seen a roadster go around here before. 4 attempts quicker than Jim Davis managed, a former champion, 2016 champion.
Yeah, Jim Davis was kind of one of the pioneers of running the Mark III, wasn't he? Came in, wasn't one of the earliest, but he came in after that, having done really well in a Mark II.
One of them there on the 2 wheels on the grass. That's Tom Mailings. Now we're flashing his lights. That's that Paul Hinson. Paul Hinson, who won the championship back in 2012. Oh, there's been an incident here. That's 70 with big damage to the rear.
Yeah,
that's Stuart Briley.
That's quite badly damaged, rear corner and the rear bumper hanging off, but it's taken a good old whack.
So it's Mailings and Hinson side by side here. The inside for Paul Hinson. You've got Ben Rowe behind. Good to see his car back up. He had a big incident at Snetterton where there was a bit of a concertina effect, and Mailings up over the curbs. He's launched the car into a spin. That meant Ben Rowe had to go off-road, and there's the damaged car that's parked. That's on the Grand Prix circuit, isn't it? That's at Beckett, so that's actually not in the middle of the road as it may look. I think that's quite a way off, and as I say, on the Grand Prix circuit. And there's the other car involved. It's Crabbin. That's 48, I think, and that's Mike Nash. So I think they were the two cars that came together down at the hairpin on the previous lap. Side by side, a couple of the Mark 1s here. That is Gareth Baxter and Daniel Farmer that have got themselves together, but they're also involved with a Mark 3 Roadster, that being Patrick Stoner. Again, I think he raced a Mark 1 in the past. So a lot of the Mark 1 drivers upgrading this season to a newer machine. Here are the leaders then. It's Sean Traynor that's hanging on ahead of Alistair Topley, and then in third position is Nick Williamson. Topley only 8th in the championship. He got involved in that incident with Ben Rowe at Snetterton, but Topley was the runner-up last year to Traynor in the championship. Williamson, who was a winner at Snetterton, is alongside Topley, coming down, or trying to get alongside and coming down into the Vale. Couldn't quite manage it though. But these three a long way now ahead of the rest, and the rest headed by Paul Cook, a multiple winner in the category.
Yes, they've done well to eke their way clear of the rest, but there's nothing much between the top three. But as you can see, there's the 4th place man, Paul Cook, coming into our view. Oh, that's Higton, number 4, running 7th it was. And he's now scrungling over the grass.
You lose a rather lot of places in this, don't you, if you have an off. Down into the village hairpin, halfway through the race now. Same order, up front, Traynor, Topley and Williamson. Then Paul Cook is 4th. In 5th is Aaron Cook. 6th is Paul Hinson. 7th, Adam Lockwood, going pretty well. 8th, Daniel Bryant. 9th, Ben Rowe after he had to take that avoidance. And 10th for Mick Nichols. And the two Mailings down ahead of Sun, 11th and 12th, after Tom's pretty dramatic moment up there at Club a lap or two ago. Challenge for second, the best of the Class B cars. Nick Williamson looks up the inside then of Alistair Topley and goes through. So Williamson did that pretty well to get a place, but that's just allowed Sean Traynor to break away a little bit, I reckon. Down into the chicane they come then. Can Topley fight back? I don't think so. I think he's going to sit behind. And is he going to be able to fight back perhaps on the exit of Club Corner? No, Williamson seems to have the better of here. Now we shall see if he has the pace to go after Sean Traynor.
Yeah, the gap's gone out quite dramatically between the leaders. It's now 1.47 seconds between Traynor and Williamson, so more than doubled. Topley 3rd, 4 tenths down.
Strange that the Cooks felt differently. Paul and Aaron are quite a bit behind. They were battling for the win in the opening round of the championship, and that was Aaron Cook that beat Paul Cook there at Snetterton, but they're now some 7 seconds behind the leader. There's another of the Rogue Motorsport hire cars. That is driven by Larry Andrews today, and he's being challenged by one of the Mark 3 Roses. That's Daniel Sylvester. Both cars, all 4 in that battle, all with novice crosses on the back. So great to see more and more people getting involved.
Yeah, very encouraging. And big field, got the real experts up towards the sharp end. Sean Traynor, obviously past master, still exercising such speed.
This is about of a second. The two Mark 2s, Nick Williamson and Alistair Topley, both bounce over the curbs there as they turn left. And then now they accelerate out through Club Corner. And after a pretty dramatic first lap, it's just calmed down a little bit now at the front of the pack. Behind, Paul Cook just gapping Aaron Cook. Good to see now Paul Hinson going after them. Paul Hinson, whose best result at Snetterton was a 5th. He's 6th at the moment, but he is catching Aaron Cook there in front and just did a PB, a 1:21.3.
Yeah, he does look like he's on a charge. It's the car in the back of the screen. It's the dark car with the yellow stripes up over the wings. Nicely turned out car, the 26 there of Paul Cook.
He also racing with the 750 Motor Club in the BMW Car Club Racing Championship, which was at Brands Hatch last weekend, where he took a class win. There's Hinton. Good to see him back. Back in 2012, he beat George Robinson and Matt Palmer to the championship.
And that's very much a trio now. The Cooks and Hinson.
The two cars behind are both Mark 1 graduates. Adam Lockwood has chosen a Mark 3 and Daniel Bryant has chosen a Mark 2.
Aaron Cook stuck his nose just up inside Paul Cook there into Stowe. Wasn't close enough, but what it has done, it's allowed Hinson to get that little bit closer, and it's equidistant now between second, third, and first and second cars in this trio.
Across the line they come to complete 8 laps of this race. Here comes Paul Hinton up the inside of Aaron Cook, and he doesn't quite make it.
Difficult because you touch the curb there, you can destabilise the car on the inside of the corner and flick yourself wide. He didn't make that mistake. He kept it all very neat and tidy.
Here comes Hinton then up the inside through the King. That's a decent move, but the outside then for the Link, the right-hander that takes you back onto the
Might get the cut back here, but he's got to know there's the car between him and where he wanted to be. Bumps down the grass on the outside, but he does get his nose ahead, but he might sap momentum. I think it will, and they are pretty much abreast down the Hanger Straight. This time, though, he has got ahead. So Hinson up into 5th. Aaron Cook trying to run around the outside of him down towards Stowe as Paul Cook makes his escape in the sort of gunmetal car with the bright yellow rear end.
Down into the Vale then, and Cook tries to get a tighter exit to give him a better run through the right-handed element of the corner, try and get on the power earlier to give him momentum all the way down towards Abbey. But in the toe now, that's what allowed Paul Cook to get away. And then behind them, a good battle. You've got Adam Lockwood with Daniel Bryant coming up the inside of him. Bryant going for 7th, and he will get into 7th place. He finished on the podium at Snetterton, first podium in the championship for him last month. Here comes Aaron Cook back to the outside of Paul Hinton. Oh, a big moment now for Daniel Bryant, all locked up and spins off the road.
Cook's first though, and before the car's gone completely around, his back pointing in the right direction.
And that gives Adam Lockwood 7th place back and will promote Ben Rowe into 8th, and I think Bryant recovered in 9th before Mick Nichols got there. So here's Hinton now back under pressure from Aaron Cook, who sits in the toe as they come up towards Stowe Corner. Hinton on the inside line, just protecting the inside there to keep Cook at bay. There will be one further lap to go by the looks of it at the end of this. There's Maxine Nichols. She's had an off. She was running in 23rd position before that down the village. Here's a battle for 5th though as they make their way through and out of Club Corner. Hinton ahead of Cook as they complete the lap. And they might squeeze 2 more in here because at the end of 10 laps it was 13 minutes 36 with 1 minute 24 on the clock. It could be very tight actually whether they can get one further lap in or not. Another car off, the Martini car there of Phil Collins, 28, gets back on again though. And here's Hinton trying to keep Aaron Cook at bay. Adam Lockwood is catching them in the Mark III Roadster. Moving the curves there, unsettles Cook's car.
Goes through the corner as a result.
More battles further back. You've got the Mark III Roadster there of Jim Mew trying to go around the outside of the road car of Larry Andrews, who hangs on. This battle outside the top 20. I think just inside the top 30, so racing all the way through.
Here's Hinson on Paul Cook. Paul Cook in 26, Hinson in the 25 car behind him, going through Stowe Corner, ducking down into the Vale.
think Sean Trainer's just going to squeeze another lap out of this race, isn't he?
Just
So,
about 4 seconds.
So this will be a 12-lapper. Williamson still second and Topley third. He's lost out on that lap in the traffic there by the looks of it. And then a big gap to the rest of them. Really strange that Paul Cook hasn't got the pace here today at Silverstone. There's the leader though, Sean Trainer. We haven't seen much of him for the last few minutes. But looking for a win in this Mark III Roadster that he debuted at the end of last season at Oulton Park. Here is Topley, he's just got past that slower traffic in third. And then a gap back to the rest, the Paul Cook, Paul Hinson and Aaron Cook and Adam Lockwood battle. But in this race, Trainer's lapped quite a few cars. Just wanting to get past them smoothly. Coming down towards Stowe Corner then on this 12th and final lap of the race. He turns it into the right-hander. At Snetterton, he took a second and a third. Oh, no, one of the Mark 1s have had a big old moment there. That was 14. That was Gareth Baxter who slid wide at Stowe. But Sean Trainer in round 1 finished third. In round 2, he finished second. And in round 3, he's going to be the winner of the Toyota MR2 Championship here on the Silverstone International Circuit. He takes the checkered flag then and wins. Second place will be Nick Williamson for his second podium of the year. And in third place will be Alistair Topley, who takes his first podium in 2020, the runner-up in the championship in the previous year. And look at the 4 cars battling for 4th place. Paul Cook just about hangs on, but that was a close finish. Just ahead of Paul Hinson, Aaron Cook and Adam Lockwood. I don't think they changed places, but there were just 0.6 of a second between them at the line. Ben Rowe hangs on to 8th there, I think, just ahead of Daniel Bryant. And then concluding the top 10, Tom Mayling's got ahead of Mick Nichols on the final lap of the race. But another good race there, Marcus, I think, from the MR2 Championship.
Very much so, and it wasn't perhaps quite as intense as the previous one for the MX-5s. Oh, there's a big old bang at the end there as somebody gets elbowed out.
Is that Martini car?
The
again?
Martini car, yes. Yeah, Martini on the rocks.
That was Phil Collins, I think, 28.
Should stick to drumming.
They still flow around the corner. This is what is so impressive, isn't it? How many cars there are here. Patrick Mortel, head of the championship's done a great job with it. Began 12 years ago, and it has grown and grown and grown. It's been a success now with this kind of grid, I think, for the last decade, hasn't it? 30 plus cars, and now with a full grid here at Silverstone of 44, is mightily, mightily good. And the grid for the later race, by the way, Sean Trainer did an overall lap record in the end, 120.61, so that beats any Mark II or Mark III beforehand. They were both actually records held by Jim Davis, the Class B and C record. But Sean Trainer has bettered that now, 120.61. But we will see these out again later, and the later race is set by the grid position set by the fastest laps of this race. And it was Trainer who got the best lap by 0.4 over Williamson and Topley. So the top 3 will be the same as we finish. But I think Daniel Bryant got the 4th quickest lap, so he'll start much further up the order. I do like this method, Marcus, of setting grids by the fastest lap of the race. It sometimes mixes things up a bit.
You know, it's quite interesting. It's something that happens quite a lot in New Zealand.
Right.
And what you tend to do, you might race 3, 4, 5 times over a weekend. If you set your qualifying time, that gets your first grid. And then they don't go with the grid order, they go always with lap times. So if you've had problems in practice and you kind of improve by 2 seconds in the first race and you improve again, you'll gradually work your way forward. So effectively all the cars and drivers of a similar performance end up at the front, regardless of whether they finished a race or not. If they had a minor problem and had to retire, but they set a quick lap time, then they get shuffled up. So you go by your fastest lap of the weekend to determine each successive grid. And that tends to make for safer racing because you don't get people displaced in the grid. So quite an interesting thing we picked up over there.
I think as well, it means the 2 grids generally aren't the same. When they do this first and second best lap from qualifying, generally the 2 lap times are fairly similar and the grids are fairly similar.
You sometimes see drivers flick from one side of a row to the other, don't you? But not very often do they move up significantly.
but this can tend to mix up, because if you're battling all the way through the race, you may not have done as good lap as perhaps somebody a bit further down. So I do like it. There's a few of the 750 Motor Club Championships that use that method. There are so many different methods to set different grids. It keeps us on our toes by having different methods for different championships. So I think all the cars there have returned to the pit lane now, and I think 39 of them got to the end. So again, a pretty good finishing rate. We run back through that top 10. Sean Traynor, Nick Williamson, Alistair Topley outside the podium with Paul Cook, Paul Hinson, Aaron Cook, Adam Lockwood, Ben Rowe, Daniel Bryant and Tom Mayling. So good to see some new names this season but into the top order, and it does seem there's a lot more competitive cars that could win races this season compared to perhaps previous years. And we've had 3 different winners in the 3 races so far: Aaron Cook, Nick Williamson and Sean Traynor. So that's great to see. We'll see if we could add a 4th winner to that later on this season. So I think we are ready now to head down to Matt Suckling in the pit lane.
Down here with our race winner from the MR2 race, Sean Traynor. Sean, many congratulations, your first win of the year. Cracking start, a cracking pull away as well.
Yeah, I got a great start really. Nick had a good start as well, to be fair, but I had the outside of the corner, which probably gave me a longer run round it, which I didn't have such a sharp turn, which gave me the inside for the next corner, which if you're on the outside, you're washing wide. So that gave me a bit of a lead, and then Ali was all over Nick for this next corner. And then we went onto the back straight and they were side by side, and I thought, yes, that'll give me a second. So it gave me a little bit of a break. And then Ali was faster in some parts of the track, but these little roadsters, they're giving you a hell of a run onto that back straight where you need it. So yeah, it's pretty good out there. So the car's handling great. We've had a few issues at Snetterton, but hopefully we're ironing them out. There's the lads, Lee and Phil again, have been busy putting the new head on it, because as normal I blew it up, so they've been working hard and I'm out enjoying it. So.
Yeah, great start to your weekend, and you've got one more race to come as well. Should look forward to that.
Yeah, I hope so, and it looks like it might be a little bit wet, so if it rains we might have some fun out there.
Good stuff. Well done, Sean. Congratulations on your victory. Let's bring in our second place man as well, which was Nick Williamson. Come and join us. Well done, Nick, winner of the second class B, and top points once again there.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah, great race. I mean, we started on the front row, and then we had quite a dice with. I thought we might be able to catch Sean because his car's not so fast on the straights, but then Ali was chasing me, and we had quite a dice there, so that was really exciting. But luckily we were pulling away from the rest, so we had a bit of time. So then we sort of linked together and tried to not fight each other, tried to catch Sean, but we couldn't. Ali got in front of me, and then I got him back on the back straight. So then we caught the back markers was the big problem. I mean, that was really dicey. So
same again in race 2, maybe.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant if I could. Yeah, so I'm very stoked about this. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well done, Nick. Congratulations. Thank you very much. And we'll bring in Ali as well for 3rd place in the race overall. Well done, Ali. One of your best performances of the year so far.
Yeah, that was good. That we struggled a little bit at Snetterton with a couple of things, and the guys actually at Rogue found an issue with the engine, so we put a new engine in for today, and it's flying. So Nick was just a little bit quicker than me. My tyres were going off towards the end, and Sean's just flying in that thing. I was trying to keep with him, and it's just too quick around the slow corners, but we'll make a couple of little changes, and it was just really surprising to see the gap we had on the rest of him. That was good, but yeah, I'll take second in class and 3rd overall, definitely.
Yeah, and you and Nick had a great fight as well.
Yeah, it was close. We had a side-by-side through here, and I didn't want to go up the curb and do what we saw in the F1 a few weeks ago, so yeah, a good bit of tin-top racing, but clean racing as well. And like I say, he got the run of me down the street, and there was no point fighting because I wanted to try and get to Sean. But we've got another race. I've got no idea where I am on the grid. Hopefully around 3rd or 4th, top 3 or 4 anyway, and we'll see if we can go a little bit better.
Good stuff. Well, Ali, thank you very much. There you go then. Happy chappies down here in the MR2. We've got more from them a little bit later on this afternoon. For now, though, back to Josh and Marcus.